Volunteering is key to so much of what happens in Scottish sport. Without volunteering, Scottish sport wouldn't be the success story that it is, and far fewer people would be able to get involved. Volunteers really are the lifeblood of Scottish sport, and it's really important that we do all we can to encourage and retain them.
Without the army of volunteers, the length and breadth of the country, many sporting opportunities wouldn't exist. And from each and every rung of the sporting journey and each and every sport, we all rely on those dedicated volunteers to make sure that sport can happen and that those opportunities are there in each and every community across the country. So that's why it's important that we recognise and celebrate the dedication and the commitment of volunteers who are involved in sport.
I don't think it could be more important, actually, and I speak as a volunteer, somebody who's been involved with sport for, I hate to say, probably about 40 years, but it's so important, and I see the very hard work that's done by so many people across the country, particularly with youngsters who are just starting out, and that of course is the very age where we want to get them involved in sport. So it couldn't be more important to the volunteer, to the youngster and to anybody else who's being coached, but I think there's a much wider appeal across society, and that's an important thing to think about, because I think volunteering is very good for you. It gives you such a wonderful experience in most cases, and that's something that's very precious.
The benefits of volunteering are vast. It can help with isolation, it can help reconnect people back with their community, it can help with employment opportunities, the list goes on. It also allows people to put back into their community. They themselves might have experienced fantastic benefits from opportunities provided by volunteers and want to put that same effort back into their own communities.
You can't necessarily describe all the benefits. I think they're intangibles. It's a very personal experience for many people, but it's hugely rewarding. I can't say that enough. I just find that being a volunteer is just so rewarding, and to see youngsters for having come out and started on something and growing up, in some cases becoming elite sportsmen and women, that just couldn't be more important.
For the volunteer, it's an opportunity to get out, to meet people, to pass on skills and expertise that you yourself might have gained in a variety of areas. But it's also an opportunity to make sport, for example, affordable for many. Scottish Athletics, we reckon that £7.19 million of volunteer benefit have been put into that one single sport. So that just gives you an idea of the impact volunteering makes.
And also just the sheer pleasure of seeing other people, young people, old people, enjoying the opportunities that are created. The European Championships that are coming up in just a few months' time will be also reliant upon volunteers the length and breadth of the country, like we did for the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow back in 2014. So volunteering provides many opportunities. It provides enhanced CVs, it provides that connection to the community, and that's why we should encourage many people to volunteer, and that's also why it's important that we celebrate what volunteers do.
And I think we as a society need to do all we can to make sure that those who want to volunteer can, because sometimes time can be a barrier, or the expense of volunteering can be a barrier. So we want to make sure that we involve employers too, so that they understand the benefits to wider society. If one of their employees is volunteering in another area, it benefits their company too.
This country, or any country, wouldn't function without a huge army of volunteers, and I want to thank all the volunteers who participate across Scotland, because a lot of them are unsung heroes. They do a tremendous amount of work in some terrible weather and day after day, and I think we have to respect everything that they do, because it's such an important thing.
Without you, sport and opportunity wouldn't exist. Those young people who are enjoying sport each and every day across the country wouldn't have that opportunity without the dedication, the talent, the commitment of those volunteers. So a massive big thank you to each and every person who does what they can to provide an enhancement to life across the country.
They do so much in fairly difficult circumstances, sometimes in facilities that are not all that great, sometimes when there isn't much money available, and it's that commitment, it's that enthusiasm that gets passed on to youngsters.
I would like to thank Scotland Sports Volunteers from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, we couldn't do it without you. Our young people wouldn't succeed in the way that they can. The outreach that goes on across our communities wouldn't happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think it's up to all of us to help those who want to volunteer.
For goodness sake, keep going. We need all the volunteers right across Scotland, because I think if there are lessons to be learned from the Commonwealth Games and lots of other sports, is that Scotland is increasingly doing well in the sporting world in a variety and diverse range of sports. So we need more volunteers than ever before, and I'm delighted to see that the numbers of volunteers is increasing. but we need even more of you. So thank you for all you do, and let's hope that you'll do a lot more in the future.